Hello Tara and the rest of our friends at University of Florida Shands in Gainesville. Hello Mackenzie. My name is Philip Rulo with Rultract, as you know, and I wanted to go over the next generation Rultract spline equipment as it compares to your existing spline equipment, because your existing equipment has been discontinued and replaced with the next generation equipment. So first of all, from what I understand, you want to replace all of your square equipment with spline. And I'm sure the reason is because they get confused in the OR. That happens. So when it does happen, that particular tray becomes unusable and they need to call for another one. So as an example, here is a spline connected to a spline. You can see it doesn't move. If they get confused and we put a square top on a spline bottom, it doesn't connect and it will rotate, so it can't be used. They'll have to call for another tray. So we want to replace all of our squares with splines. Now, the issue that you're going to have with that is the generation that you currently have is no longer available, as I said. So you would only have the next generation, which has just single bends in it. This was designed to provide more space for the patient's shoulder and arm, as well as more height over the patient. The advantage here is if they get confused in SPD, and they probably still will, although it's not going to be as easy to confuse them, they'll still work. So let's confuse the two here. So now I have an older generation with a new generation, and a new generation with an older generation. And you can see that they still connect. They're both spline. The difference is the older top post on the newer bottom post brings the retractor about 3 inches further away from the table. In almost all cases, patient anatomy wise, that isn't going to matter because most surgeons put their Rultract gearbox a little further back on the top post anyway. So in the event that the surgeon feels he needs to be closer to the center of the table and these have been mixed up, almost all, if not all of your trays already have an extender bar, and the surgeons are going to be familiar with that. So they would ask for the extender bar and they would put that on, and that would then allow them to put their Rultract gearbox onto the extender bar and have the correct amount of reach over the table, as you can see here. So as long as you have an extender bar in the tray, mixing of the two isn't going to matter. And furthermore, it shouldn't, I'm sure it'll still happen, but it shouldn't be as easy to confuse the two. In the past, if you took a square top post and a spline top post, well, you can't tell the difference. I mean, it does say spline and it does say square on those. I'm sure you can't see it, but it does. And then you would have to look up inside the hole here and see if there's a spline or a square insert. And in most cases, people aren't going to know to do that or think about doing that, and that's how they get confused. However, I am thinking that because they look completely different, they shouldn't get confused. They probably still will. So we want to do all of the straight. If you replace all of your existing square with spline and you get these, you would have to explain that the straight post go together. Will that work? I don't know, but at least it won't be as hard to confuse the two. And also, if they are confused, they'll still work. So if you have any questions, I'm pretty sure you will, go ahead and ask Mackenzie or myself, and we will do the best we can to explain this further. Again, thank you for the years of support. Really sorry I couldn't be there today. Have a nice day.